The desert shimmers with heat, waves of air rippling across endless dunes. A lone rider cuts through the sand, Saul, a Pharisee of Jerusalem. His eyes blaze with passion. Conviction burns in his face. We hear his whisper, "I keep the will of God. I defend the law. I correct false faith." He believes every word. At his waist swings a scroll sealed by the high priest's mark. Arrest those who follow Jesus. Hoofbeats strike the sand in steady rhythm. Wind lashes his robe, heat wraps around his body, sweat drips down his brow. In the distance, Damascus glows like destiny. He murmurs, "At the end of this road lies justice." But he is wrong. At the end of this road, grace is waiting. In Jerusalem, Saul walked with confidence through the temple courts. He was trained under Gamaliel, a teacher of great renown. Scrolls and sacred laws filled his mind. He knew every word, every rule. He was young, brilliant, and certain. People respected him. Priests trusted him. To Saul, righteousness meant obedience, not mercy. He studied the law, but never met the heart of God. He knew every command, yet not the compassion behind it. Zeal was his pride. The law was his weapon. Every step he took felt guided by divine purpose, yet his heart remained untouched by grace. He defended truth with passion, but did not yet understand the love behind it. Then came a day that changed everything. A man named Stephen stood before the council speaking of Jesus. Saul was there watching, listening, unmoved. He saw the crowd grow furious, stones raised high. Stephen's face shone like an angel's, still forgiving, still praying. And Saul approved as the stones struck. That moment hardened his heart. He thought he was defending holiness, but he was silencing heaven's voice. From that day, he led the persecution himself. He dragged believers from their homes, breathing threats in the name of righteousness. Each arrest fed his pride, convincing him he was serving God. But deep within, a quiet unease began to stir, one he refused to face. A light from heaven breaks the sky. Saul falls to the ground, his world shattering in brilliance. Then, through the light, a voice calls his name. "Saul, Saul, why are you persecuting me?" It is not anger that speaks, but mercy, a voice filled with grief and compassion. He who once hunted others is now hunted by grace. The ground trembles beneath him, and the brightness burns through his certainty. Every conviction, every defense crumbles before the weight of divine love. In that blinding moment, Saul realizes he is known completely and still loved. Saul trembles, whispering, "Oh, who are you?" And the answer comes, gentle but thunderous, "I am Jesus, the one you are persecuting." Silence follows. No more sound, only the heartbeat of heaven. Everything he believed in collapses. Law, pride, certainty. The light that blinded his eyes has opened his soul. He kneels in the dust, trembling. For the first time, Saul sees not with his eyes, but with his heart. This is not punishment, it is calling. The light that broke him was meant to rebuild him, from law to love, from darkness to grace. His journey toward a new life has begun. In that sacred silence, time seems to stop. Only mercy remains. Tears fall freely, washing away the dust of old convictions. What once was zeal now becomes surrender, and surrender becomes peace. In every generation there are Sauls, people chasing purpose, blinded by success. We run fast, speak loud, but often lose sight of peace. And yet, in our quietest moments, the same light breaks in. It does not come to destroy, but to awaken. It whispers, "Why do you run without me?" Sometimes grace doesn't shout, it simply waits. And when we stop, the voice we've been avoiding becomes the one that saves us. In that silence, truth finally catches up to us. The walls we built around our hearts begin to crack under the weight of mercy. What we thought was failure turns out to be the doorway to grace. And in the place where striving ends, love begins to breathe again. The light of Damascus still shines in our time. It calls not the perfect, but the weary. It meets us not in temples, but in traffic, offices, and silent rooms. Grace is not a past story. It is a present invitation. The same Jesus who met Saul still calls our name. He comes quietly into the moments we hide, the failures we bury, the doubts we disguise. His light does not condemn. It reveals and restores. It finds us in the middle of our striving, whispering that we are already loved. Even when our hearts resist, grace keeps pursuing, patient and kind. Perhaps today that light is calling you. Will you stop and let it find you too? The storm is past, and silence remains. Saul rises not as a persecutor, but as a man reborn. The same road that led him to pride has now led him to grace. Grace does not erase the past. It transforms it. The very hands that once held anger now carry light, and that light will guide every step of the journey ahead. The road to Damascus has ended, but the journey of grace goes on. Each of us has a road, a place where heaven's light meets our brokenness. And when that light calls our name, may we have the courage to answer. For every step taken in grace becomes a testimony of love.
If this message has encouraged your heart, be sure to like, share, and subscribe so others can hear it too.